Hello, Eight of Cups family. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot, and welcome to Virgo season, guys. We've got a lot going on in the skies this month. September is another intense month, although not quite as jarring and intense as August was. We are still dealing with the calamity of the things that occurred in August. You know, the Uranus station is still very prominent in our sky, as well as the second full moon in Aquarius. And when we move into Virgo season, and especially as we have Venus moving through the sign of Libra the first half of the month, our attention is really going to be turned towards our ability to have compassion. Now, looking at the current state of things in this world, and my condolences and my whole heart goes out to the troops that were sacrificed in Afghanistan, and praying that the rest of these people can get home safely. We kind of have to look at ourselves as a nation and as humanity and really lean on our ability to have compassion. Now, the tricky part of Virgo energy is to have compassion without judgment. And a lot of this month is going to be us being compelled to say, yeah, but they should have done this. Yeah, but they should have done that. And there has to reach a culmination point for us in which we can accept where we are right now and how to proceed. This is in terms of mundane astrology. This is in terms of our current conditions as a collective, and it also plays out in our personal lives as well. Virgo energy can make you feel the need to perfect everything in your life. And it's not a really healthy place to be. I'm allowed to say this because I'm a Virgo with the Virgo stellium, so I'm very familiar with where these perfectionism obsessions can lie in our lives. And quite honestly, when we spend a lot of time focusing on everything that is wrong, it's really hard to maintain that high vibrational energy that helps us to accomplish, that helps us to manifest, that helps us to bring peace into our personal lives, and therefore create peace throughout the collective. So it's a little bit of a duality. The good thing about Virgo energy is that it's always fair. And especially as we approach this new moon in Virgo and the full moon in Pisces, there's a lot of energy into our gifts as humans, into the compassion that we can have for other people, and our ability to put ourselves in other people's shoes and truly understand where they are coming from. And I think this energy will allow us to make some pretty big breakthroughs as far as dropping some of the animosity that we have and coming together for the greater good. Now, my hope in all of this, and what I truly hope we could all reach within the next couple weeks, at least the first half of this Virgo season, is the quality of time that we spend in our lives doing the things that we love with the people that we love. There's an emphasis on relationships here. There's an emphasis on the other people in our lives and the roles that they play. Now, I always look at Virgo season as so appropriate when we look at the way that we're developed, you know, the way that at least us in the Western Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere, you know, it's back to school time. So we're getting back into our routines, and Virgo really loves a routine. We're also probably, in terms of health, we're looking at the COVID variants, and, you know, there's probably a lot more fear amping up throughout our environments again. And so the Virgo energy can talk to you about getting right as far as your nutrition and taking care of your body, exercising, taking the proper vitamins, eating the right foods, eating cleaner foods, not relying so much on fast food. The beauty of the mutability of Virgo is that we're transitioning from one season into the next. We are transitioning from the fun and wild summer into a more sober and responsible time of year. But it's also a time in which we start to prepare for some of the more traditional sides of life, right? Now the kids go back to school, we start talking about schedules and plans and fall plans and what are we going to do for the holidays. And Virgo is all about the planning. So it's a great opportunity for us to get organized in our lives. It's a great opportunity to clean out some of the old stuff in our houses, in our minds, in our bodies, and to get a little bit clearer and stronger in what we want to do next. It's a great time to set goals. And because Venus is in Libra, it's a great time to implement friendships. It's a great time to say to your friend, hey, let's start a walking routine. Let's go for a walk 3 times a week with a best friend, because not only do we need that mutual companionship, but it also kind of helps to hold us accountable. So there's strength in that this month as well. Now we've got Mars moving through Virgo. This is a lot about the military stuff that's going on. You're going to see this playing out for a few more weeks. Of course, you're going to see this playing out for the rest of the year. But things will remain kind of in a heightened state for a few more weeks as Mars makes its way through Virgo. And then finally moves into Libra, which has its own set of interesting factors. But again, leaning towards companionship, leaning towards being fair to all and being honest. So we're looking at a couple more decent months before we roll into November and December, which again really pump up the anxiety, they really pump up the intensity. So I urge all of you, if you are able to rest in September, please do so. Please honor your body, honor your minds, honor yourself. It's a great time to learn to love yourself for where you are and what you have in your life, and be grateful, because when we're on the Virgo Pisces axis, this is all about the service that we do for others, the sacrifices that we make in the name of love, and what we are able to give. And so each of our attention should be put towards that in some way, whether we are packing lunches for our children or, just really enjoying our partners and our friends and the loves in our life, and cherishing those things and being grateful for them, being grateful for our homes, organizing them, taking care of them, closing up that yard work, getting ready for the fall. It's an amazing time of year, and I do wish you guys all the very best in the month of September, and we will get started with your monthly videos. Enjoy, guys. Hi, Leo. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot, and welcome to your cards for September. I have to say that looking at these, one of the first things that struck me was the number sequences, and another thing that struck me was what was missing. And I kind of think that that's kind of what the focus of September is going to be for you. What is missing? Now off the bat, we have this first row here, 4 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords. And this is what I mean. The only 4 that is missing from this picture is the 4 of Wands, which ultimately, center card, middle of the reading, 3 of Wands. I think ultimately what Leo wants is that 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands seems a little bit unattainable in the present moment. And that is why the universe is kind of asking you to get yourself into this Queen of Cups energy this month. Now, sometimes I see different things with that energy. Queen of Cups can be extremely compassionate, right? So loving, so open, so understanding, so empathic towards others. But for you this month, I think this is so much more important that we approach the self-care thing. Now, when I say self-care, it's not like booking yourself a massage or, I'm talking about really making yourself feel loved. Because sometimes we get in these modes, right? Like your environment is that of the devil. And that's just simply energy that feels very oppressive. And I think this Devil card is kind of representing the reason why the Four of Wands is not here in the reading. Four of Wands kind of representing, that wish come true, which is oftentimes about the merging with others. Maybe some of you are seeking a new home, seeking a new family life, seeking a new work environment. Whatever it is, it's something that feels as if you're coming home. And I think there's something about the element of home that seems very far away or detached for you this month. We've got the Queen of Cups or Queen of Swords here in the overall energy. And so there seems to be a disconnect. Now we've got the Four of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles. And right here, this is sort of the struggle for the physical thing to happen. Oftentimes, Four of Cups is when we get so super focused on like the fact that we don't have that one thing that we start to look at life a little bit differently. This is such a human thing to do, right? And I know, like, for the most part, my Leos are super optimistic, right? You're ruled by the sun. You gravitate towards situations in which you can exude happiness and peace. And yet there's something that's pulling you away from this. And a lot of times what happens is we turn our focus towards that one thing that we don't have, right? This is kind of what 2021 is all about. And it gets super frustrating now as all of these planets are retrograde, making all of these aspects to the personal planets, right? This is a super like intense time of the year. And as the months proceed, from now into March of 2022, we are really kind of in this pressure hold, almost like this clamp that keeps coming down and coming down on us. And it's going to force us to make these changes. Now, Leo, reminder, you are a fixed sign, right? So change, not that you're afraid of it, but you would just prefer it to happen in an easy, happy way, right? We don't want to go through this struggle. But that clamp is coming down, and that's what the Devil feels like, is all those things that you think you have to do, or the kind of life you have to live, or Saturn going through your 7th house can oftentimes feel like you're getting a lot of no's. Saturn makes you feel restricted, like there's something that you really love and you really want, and yet you can't quite make it a reality. But Saturn there means you can make the changes, but you're going to have to do them the right way, right? And most likely it has to serve a bigger purpose. So I see this Four of Cups, Three of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, and right here, there's clearly a new path or something that you want to build. Maybe this is building the foundation of a relationship with somebody. It could be seeking counsel in some way. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have this Four of Swords down here and this Three of Pentacles. Oftentimes, to me, this can represent seeking some sort of therapy. Now, it doesn't have to be the traditional sense of therapy. It could even just be watching YouTube videos or listening to spiritual counsel of some sort. But oftentimes the Three of Pentacles will welcome in like a third-party opinion. Somebody who teaches and advises and helps you to lay down the proper foundation. But I also see here with this Four of Cups that if you get lost in this energy, the focusing on what you don't have, and you lose gratitude for your day-to-day life, right? Like the things that are going well. Like maybe you have relationship issues, Saturn, Jupiter, both in the 7th house. But you find yourself like happy at work, successful in other ways in your life. And if you allow your attention to turn on that one thing that you don't have, the rest of life is going to become very bland. And when a Leo operates in a place of being very bland, they start to feel the resistance. Seven of Pentacles is a promise that adjustments will be made. There will be new answers. There will be breakthroughs, maybe through the advice of other people, maybe through the fact that all you need to do truly is to kind of emotionally detach from this one thing altogether. See, we also have a lot of Pluto energy this month. Pluto in your 6th house, you know, making aspects to a lot of the personal planets. We could feel held down by the day-to-day responsibilities. And for some of us, this can just feel like, you know, wanting to go on vacation, wanting to get out and enjoy life, wanting to participate more in like the fun things. And yet that devil energy is like, yeah, but you gotta balance that checkbook, prepare those taxes, return those emails, kind of day-to-day responsibilities. It might feel oppressive in the beginning of September. This energy could probably go back and forth because, again, it's a reminder that it's Virgo season. Virgo, your 2nd house, is going to shine a light on all of those responsibilities. It's going to shine a light on your values as well. And you may have to adjust maybe some outstanding values that you hold in your life. Maybe there's a shifting of priorities. There's a lot of shifting for all of us in this way. You grow up or you get through, you know, your 30s even, and you just think that life is supposed to be this certain way. And then, you know, regardless of age, regardless of the situation, there's always this awakening in everybody where you're just kind of like, wow, that thing that I thought was super important really isn't it. Because by detaching and stepping away from that thing that isn't quite in your hands yet, it isn't created, it isn't like a solid thing in life, there's no plan, there's no guarantee. I get the idea of like nothing's set in stone. The thing that you want, the thing that you clearly want to get over, you want to start this new job, you want to start this new love affair, you want to get on with life in a lot of ways. This is that Aries energy, I am. And when we want something so bad, we start to really tie our ego and our identity into it. And I think the Temperance card here is a reminder that the big things in life, the good things in life, probably don't happen overnight. And yet there's so much success that comes from the detachment. Here we have the Four of Swords right next to the Ace of Wands. Four of Swords and the card number 9 of Sorrow. Well, this is kind of like the 9 of Swords, which is anxiety written. It's like worry and regret and not being able to sleep at night and just stuck in a fight or flight mode. And because that is rooted down by this Aries I am, for some of you, you could get the urge that you just want to run away from some things. You want to run away from the devil energy, those day-to-day activities or the things that you just simply feel like you've outgrown. Because Aries wants to move on to the next thing, right? Now I'm going to move over here next to the Temperance card. We have this Angkor Wat. I probably destroyed that pronunciation. I have the courage to live my heaven on earth, as above, so below. I am aware that sometimes things must fall apart to be reborn as I would wish. Okay. This is that kind of energy, and it is always and serves to be a reminder that as above, so below, as within, so without. So you really have to take a moment this month to see where this Four of Cups energy is getting you, focusing on the things that you do not have, losing gratitude for the day-to-day life. Thank you for the food on the table. Thank you for allowing me to spend time with my children, or, you know, to have friends in my life or love in my life. You know, you really have to find yourself deeply rooted in that appreciation. Queen of Cups energy. And that's simply where you turn the whole thing around. Because the universe wants you to have faith. Now, when I see the Temperance card come out, it means that you are being protected. And I have that here because Queen of Cups kind of has this circle kind of like bubble around her. And then we have this circle bubble around this whale song card. And I feel as though you are being more protected than you realize. And even if there is something that seems to be taking a long time to kind of come to fruition or be firmly established in some way, there's clearly some sort of change that we want to make, and yet it just seems like it's not quite time. But that pause is so precious because we have to get out of this mindset. Really, the answer this month is not about the doing. Aries energy is going to make you want to take charge. Now, these fours, they're going to make you want to play it safe. Now, the Four of Pentacles is kind of where we're holding in a lot. We could be holding in emotions, holding in feelings, not quite revealing what's truly going on within us, right? Now, all of these retrograde outer planets does signify a real intense time inwardly. This is a time for us to really, and especially when we have a Mercury retrograde in your third house kind of representing your mind, your thinking. There are plans that do need to be made. There are things that are changing rapidly. Your life, you're actually creating or manifesting an entirely new life. And you're so, so close. Card number 9. You're a lot closer to the new reality than you want, than you think. Right here, Ace of Wands. But you can't get there by focusing on it not being here yet. And Temperance card is a promise the universe is working on it. And here, Four of Swords, Two of Swords, I think is a reminder that the worry is a choice. The worry doesn't get you anywhere. Worry never makes situations come out better. It's just sort of a waste of time where you don't appreciate the rest of your life. And it's so much easier to manifest really beautiful things when we're coming from a place of gratitude and love and appreciation. When you are in that vibe, the universe continues to give you more things to be grateful for. But if you find yourself a little bit more pessimistic, it's a reminder that you need to tap back into this Queen of Cups energy and maybe even write in a gratitude journal daily just to keep yourself in check. It's also a reminder to truly take care of your heart, the things that you truly want. See, sometimes we can act in the 3D world, we can act in our human lives like the material things are so much more important. Okay, one of the examples here, and I find myself guilty of this all the time, but like sometimes we just get so worried about what other people will think, right? Like I think about my son, for instance. He is not a healthy eater. I would love to be one of those mothers that sends him to school with like all the veggies and the fruits and like the really beautiful, wonderful lunch. But the deal is, when I do that, it just comes back home. And my kid comes home hangry, and then we argue when he gets off the bus, and it kind of sets a tone for a rather tense evening. Sometimes you have to release the control. Now, I'm not saying that we pack just garbage in the lunch, but making a compromise, rebalancing, which is what that Libra energy is all about. It's a reminder to rebalance. Where are we trying to control things too much? And what are we taking for granted? And that's a reminder to make the adjustments this month. See, this Seven of Pentacles is really and truly everything that needs to be done. It's the only thing you need to do, because this month isn't about taking action. If you find yourself in scenarios where you feel like you have to say something, or you have to do something, or confess something, or make the change right now, it's a reminder to sit back. September is not the month. Now, as we move into October, November, and December, those are probably the months. We've got a lot that's going to be moving, and it's going to move very quickly when it starts. This is a reminder that this month is more about observing. Now, these two cards wanted to come out so badly together. I kept putting them back. Two cards would pop out. I put them back. And it's these 60 and 61, which moves into sequence. We're moving the 6 to the 7, which is why I feel intuitively that the 7 of Pentacles is the most important message. Now is a time to make the adjustments. The adjustments in your mindset, which will then kind of spur the changes in your physical realm. If you go out and try to conquer things, if you go out and try to make really big changes, if you kind of bring in these really abruptive conversations, it could backfire a little bit. It could actually cause you to step back a little, to lose progress, you know. Like if you want to be in a relationship with somebody or you want to further a commitment, it's probably not a good month to give them an ultimatum or push your thing. It's kind of the month to kind of step back and say, okay, but why is this so important to me? I say this a lot when it comes to relationships because they work in their own time. A lot of times what we do is we have one person that feels a certain way or has certain expectations and the other person isn't quite there. And it could be taken very personally, of course, like our human minds want to, you know, feel our ego. We want to be in our egos. Okay, well, if this person doesn't want to make a commitment right now, if they don't want to move in together, they don't want to get married, then they never will. But that's a silly assumption. And you could do a lot of damage when you put pressure on people because really, in the long run, you want it to happen organically anyways. And it's also a reminder that when something is meant for you, you can't really screw it up. You don't have to hold on to it so tight. In fact, the magic about being in destined situations or things that are truly meant for you is the fact that you don't have to be afraid that they won't last. Maybe that's the way that you have to reshape this month. If you are not perfect, if life is not perfect, you know, do you really fear that you're going to lose certain relationships or certain opportunities? And if you do, Saturn, 7th house, they probably weren't meant to last anyways. And so anywhere this month that you feel like you have to push or fight for something, like literally take a nap, take a bath, take a shower, submerge yourself in water, remind yourself that you are okay and that the universe is just going to kind of move in its own timeline. Now we have this Watchers transpersonal, which means you will have the ability this month, if you can, right? This is a Two of Swords. This is the decision to not do anything at all. If you step back and watch, if you watch the way that others act or react to you, watch the way that the environment is responding to you without really having a lot to say, without adding a lot of feedback, without trying to control the situations, you'll probably see life from a much easier perspective. Which means this 3 of Wands means you'll be waiting maybe for the rest of September. But if you make a push, if you push now, this could last all the way until March. The feeling of you being stuck. See, this is an opportunity to break free from whatever this devil energy represents to you. It's an invitation to break free, but you have to break free mentally before you break free physically. And this is the universe saying to you, the best thing you could do this month is nothing at all. Step back and observe. observe your feelings, other people's feelings. If you want to put it like a really compassionate twist on something, like even if you're like that horrible, obnoxious coworker, and this month, instead of like, because I feel like you're going to be irritated, it's definitely a month where there's going to be some levels of irritation, even with a partner or something. Like just leaving the socks on the floor is really going to feel super irritating. But if you could step back and look at it, kind of wonder, what was their day like? Try to like make yourself more compassionate and just simply watch. Like that's the message, is just simply watch and observe life. Sometimes we do have those people in our lives that really take us for granted. And maybe some of you have somebody in your life that you're dealing with that really doesn't appreciate what you bring to the table. And I think there's a bigger message there. Probably a message that this thing really isn't where you're meant to be anyways. And this is about making decisions that are for your greater good. Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups. I mean, these two energies together for sure is somebody that's not really going to settle for anyone that isn't, first of all, emotionally available, but also like better in the long term. Like this is high quality partnerships that you're searching for, because you realize that you are a high quality partner. And in a lot of ways, there's an element of getting ready. Because the whale song resonating, card number 61, means there will be progress soon. Knight of Cups. But you have to learn to open your heart, which means we can't be stuck in a place of being resentful or ungrateful or loaded with worry or anxiety and building resistance that something that you want very badly isn't going to happen. You just have to respect where you are. You have to have faith that whatever outside circumstance that isn't quite ready yet is being worked on. And so now is the time to prepare yourself. If this is you wanting to get into a healthy, good relationship, then you have to do the inner work, because until you have to become the partner that you want, right? We all say we want to find the love of our lives, but like probably best to work through that shadow work and all of those broken hearts and broken expectations, and really find a higher understanding. Queen of Swords is really good for that, finding that higher understanding of why it didn't work out, not carrying the anger and resentment with us anymore, and therefore we don't walk into a new relationship expecting those old karmic cycles to happen. So instead of wondering why the heck this thing isn't happening yet, it's probably best to use your time. Virgo season, it's about being useful, making the best of your time and position, and doing the inner work and really preparing yourself for this new and beautiful life to emerge. Now, most likely, something big will happen towards the end of the month. Now, we've got Venus moving into your 4th house, and by the end of the month, she starts to make this opposition to Uranus, right? This is kind of a big deal. Scorpio, Taurus axis is your 4th house, 10th house. And this is really about fated moments in destiny. And that's why I get a sense that anything that you're trying to rush through right now is just wasted energy that could be spent on something so much better and worthwhile your time, even if it's just like reading good books and taking care of yourself. Because this Ace of Wands is going to happen regardless. And the universe clearly wants to give you something or someone to build with. Something that is worth your time, that will grow, that does have a future, and you are building a strong foundation. But look, here you have the Three of Wands, and then the Ace of Wands comes. That's the Four of Wands. That's the thing that you really want. Any amount of resistance you're building now will only prolong this. All right, guys, I'm actually going to pull a special card for you. I know I'm super late this month on your readings. I'm so sorry. It's just been a very, very hectic time in my family. I know myself deeply and find myself worthy. Eclipse. Guys, I can't say it enough. Eclipses are a sign that big changes are coming. Now is a time for you to understand that you're worthy of those changes. Have faith that they will happen and that the universe is bringing it in its own time the right way. Do not feel this oppression of the devil energy, which can make you feel stuck, because you're not stuck. All right, Leo, beautiful reading, guys. I hope that you have an amazing September. I will be back shortly, probably for one of the lunations, or we'll be doing a pick a pile reading for Mercury retrograde, which should be pretty exciting soon. All right, guys, I love you so much. Take care. Have a great month. Bye.